Hey everybody. All right, so last lesson we talked about how to make a simple beat using loops. On this lesson, we're going to be talking about, hey, how can students try making a beat using the drum machine designer on Soundtrap? And what's like some nice vocabulary to use that isn't too complex. So when you guys come into Soundtrap, you can come over here, click add new track, and then we'll come over here. We got voice, piano, keyboard, guitar, bass, drums, all that stuff. So I'll come over here and I'll click drums, and it'll bring this up, which is known as our drum machine designer. I'm gonna exit out that. All right, which is our drum machine designer. As everyone can see, the grid is broken up into 16th notes, right? One E and two E and right, all that stuff. Now I've taught using this before, and I had some trouble at first because at first I was like, oh, should I teach 16th notes and eighth notes and quarter notes? And if you only have one or two lessons with students, you're not gonna be that's gonna take away from students getting to have fun. So the main thing for students to know when they look at this drum machine designer, what I like to do is I like to tell them, hey, when we make a beat, we do it in groups of four. We go one, two, three, four, one, two, three, four. And then when you look at this drum machine designer, those numbers that we just counted are the first of each group of four. So it goes one, and then I let them know that this is two, and then three, and then four. So have them understand that when it comes to numbers, don't worry about what all these other small little boxes mean. Just know that when we count one, two, three, four, that the numbers are the first little square of each group of squares. So as long as they know that, we can. I like to tell them how to make a beat using what I call drum skeletons. And what I do is I give them two options of skeletons. One is that I have the kick drum on one, and then I have the snare on three. So I'll show them that. Right? Super boring and everything. But then what I say is, okay, once I have that skeleton, right? Like us as human beings, we're not just a skeleton, we have a lot more. You don't even have to think about stuff. You can just start adding extra things because that skeleton, that foundation that's going to guide our beat is going to make sure that everything still sounds okay. So I say, go ahead, add some extra kick drums. We have our kick, we have our snare, we have a hi-hat. Try putting just different things in different places. As long as you have that kick on one and that snare on three, it's going to sound okay. So then I demonstrate, I click random things, I tell them I'm not even thinking about it, and then I click play. Right? So now that they see, okay, as long as I have that skeleton, I can just make something really cool without having to think too much about rhythmic notes and 16th notes and all of that jazz, right? So once again, as long as everyone tells them that they can do a kick on one and a snare on three for a drum skeleton, and reiterate that as far as finding numbers, that it's on one, that it's the first group, it's the first square of each group of four, right? This is our one, this is our two, this is our three, this is our four. And make sure that you're sharing your screen when you're talking to them about this and letting them know that, once again, a skeleton that we can do is a kick on one and a snare on three. All right. And then after that, you can fill in any random sorts of stuff you want. You can add extra snares, you can add extra kicks that they can just fill in and have fun with it. But as long as they have that skeleton, it's going to sound good. The one other thing that they need to know when it comes to making a simple drum beat design is to know how to loop. So what I do is I show them on my screen. I come up here, I say, when you have your mouse, you want to bring it to the top right part of the beat that you just recorded, right? That you just programmed. And when it comes to the top right, your mouse should turn into like a circle that says loop. So what you do is you click it and then you drag it. And I normally just tell them to drag it for a while, right? And then that way they can just have a simple drum beat to be going over top. And I like giving them just one skeleton to mess around with at first, so there isn't like too much new information coming in too quickly. But yeah, so that's a way to do a simple drum beat. If you want it to go a different route, you don't have to do the kick on one and three, kick on one and snare on three. What you could do is obviously you could do kick on one and three, snare on two and four, right? Kick on one and three, snare on two and four. So whichever one you want to teach them, as long as they know how to find the numbers, which is once again the first square of each group of four, then once again, anything else you wanted to have them do with that second skeleton is totally chill. Once again, I would start off with just showing them one skeleton. Whichever skeleton you want to do is totally fine. But like I said, start off by showing them how to do a simple skeleton, kick on one, snare on three, and then show them that they can add any types of hi-hats or extra stuff after that. As long as you have that skeleton, it's going to sound good. And then show them how to loop it. And that's how they can start making their own drum beats. And the big thing that we want to reiterate here, or like emphasize as we teach this, is that, hey, they just did loops and they probably really enjoyed the song that they made with loops, but let them know that loops, right, there's a lot of legal things that come with using loops in your song. So we want to be learning how to program and make all of our own stuff. All right. So that's a nice, simple way of making a simple beat. And once again, you don't want it to be too long. Each lesson, you want to try to get the information pretty quickly and then have the students trying it out, right? And then checking in with students, asking them, and then asking them questions as you make the beat. So as you explain it, go back and say, all right, if I'm making a skeleton with the kick on one and the snare on three, what number is this, right? I like to ask students a lot of questions as you do things. So right here, is this one? Okay, cool. Is this three or is this four? What number is this? And then have them kind of engage and try to, because as students engage with content, that's how they learn, right? That's how we learn as people, right? People just talk at us. We don't necessarily learn like I'm doing right now. But yeah, so ask questions with the students and have them engage with it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.